The woman who made my childhood hell finally told the truth to clear her conscience. The hospice called me directly. A nurse said my mother listed me as her emergency contact, which was news to me since we hadn't spoken in years. She said my mother was in her final days and becoming increasingly agitated. She kept telling the staff she couldn't die yet, that she needed to confess something to her daughter first. The nurse asked if I could come, said it might bring her peace. This woman gave me nightmares for 18 years, told me daily that I ruined her life, made me believe I was unlovable. Now she wanted peace? I should have said no, but the nurse said something that stuck with me. She said in 10 years of hospice work she'd never seen a patient this tormented, that whatever my mother was holding on to was eating her alive from the inside. My curiosity won. I drove 3 hours that night to watch the woman who broke me finally break herself. I walked into her room expecting to feel nothing. I was wrong. She looked like a skeleton with skin, tubes everywhere, eyes sunken. When she saw me, she started crying immediately. Not soft tears, heaving sobs that shook her entire body. A nurse rushed in thinking something was wrong. My mother waved her away and pointed to the chair next to her bed. She said, "Please sit. I need to tell you everything from the beginning." I sat down but kept my distance. She took a shaky breath and said she was sorry for everything, for the yelling, the criticism, the years of making me feel like I was never enough. She said she didn't know what took over her, that something inside her was broken and she took it out on me every single day. I sat there in silence. She kept going, said she remembered every cruel thing she ever said to me, that the memories played on a loop in her head for years. She said I didn't deserve any of it, that I was just a child, and she failed me in every possible way. Her voice started breaking. She said the guilt had been eating her alive, that she tried to convince herself she was a good mother, but she knew the truth. She knew what she was. Tears were streaming down her face now. She reached for my hand and I let her take it. Her grip was weak. She said there was something else, something bigger, something she'd been carrying for over 30 years. She opened her mouth to speak, and then her eyes rolled back. The machine started beeping, loud, fast. I jumped up and screamed for help. Nurses rushed in and pushed me out of the way. They were shouting medical terms I didn't understand. I stood in the corner watching them work on her, convinced she was about to die with her secret. 5 minutes felt like 5 hours. Finally, the beeping slowed. Her breathing stabilized. A nurse told me she was okay but weak, that I should keep the conversation calm. I pulled my chair closer to the bed. My mother's eyes fluttered open and found mine. She looked terrified, not of dying, of running out of time. She grabbed my wrist with what little strength she had and said she needed to finish, that I deserved to know the truth. I leaned in and told her I was listening. She took a breath and said she wasn't always like this, that before I came into her life she was a different person. I asked what she meant by before I came into her life. She closed her eyes and said she used to work as a house cleaner for a wealthy family with a big house and a little girl. I felt something shift in my chest. She said that little girl had blonde curls and blue eyes and the most beautiful laugh. She said she became obsessed with her, thought about her constantly. I told her to stop talking in circles and say what she needed to say. She looked at me with tears running down her face. She said one afternoon the back gate was left open, and she made a choice that destroyed everything. I couldn't breathe. She said she took that little girl, put her in her car and drove for 2 days straight, changed her name, cut her hair, told everyone she was hers. I stood up from the chair. My whole body was shaking. She said my real name was Elizabeth, that my real parents were the Westons, that they spent years looking for me, went on the news, put up flyers, hired private investigators. She said she watched my real mother cry on television begging for her baby back, and she did nothing. I asked her why she treated me so badly if she wanted me so much. She said every time she looked at me she saw what she did. The guilt turned into resentment. The resentment turned into cruelty. She said she was sorry, that she needed me to forgive her before she died. I stared at the stranger in the bed, the woman I thought was my mother, and I felt nothing but rage. I walked out without saying a word. She died 2 days later. I tracked down the Westons last month. We met at a coffee shop. My real mother just stared at me for a long time. We're taking it slow, but at least now I know the truth.